if you're anything like me and you just arrived at AutoZone, you better make a list. Otherwise, you're going to end up buying half a store. Yay! So much oil. Now, I believe Volvo recommends Castrol for their engine oil, so that's what I'll be going with right here. Or Motor One. I'll get back to you when I decide. Now, actually, I was in the parking lot and I picked up some stuff that I consider that's necessary for the oil change, including this Castrol oil, which Volvo recommends. So we'll be using that today, Castrol GTX, because I think that's what Volvo likes. So actually, as I was in the parking lot of the AutoZone, there were some people there looking at Seafoam. Now, I think Seafoam is a great product. However, after they described their symptoms to me that the car wouldn't start too well, I didn't think it was the fuel injectors or the pistons. I actually suspected that it could be either a vacuum leak or a mass airflow sensor problem. And he just said that he had done a tune-up on it and the mechanic just didn't seem to care. So what I did was I picked up some mass airflow sensors that I had in my trunk, and we cleaned his mass airflow sensor. Now he had an Acura, like a 2001 Acura, so it's actually in the throttle body, unlike in my car where it's separated. But after that, after we cleaned it, his car started right up like a dream, and hopefully they won't have any problems, because what he had when he started the engine was actually like a shaking, like the engine wasn't either getting enough air or was getting too much air, or the computer ECU was probably confused as to how much oxygen to mix because the MAF was dirty. So after we cleaned it, his car started right up. So I'm glad I could have helped him, and that went very well. Here's actually I recommend a bag like this for any job that you do, because if you live in the city like me, it's kind of hard. You don't have a driveway, so I recommend throwing all your tools in a bag like this. It's like a tarp or IKEA bag, and just bringing it out. This is the mass airflow sensor that I use to fix the guy starting problems, and it really worked very well. I use it to clean my own mass airflow sensor just from time to time. Today we're going to be using something called a liquid vac, which I bought online. And if you live in the city like me, it's tough to change out your own oil because you have to get under the car, you have to get the car up, and that's not something that I actually want to do. It's really hard to get under there, it's really hard to, and most of the time when I'm working on my car, I'm actually just doing it right on the street, which isn't safe. You don't want to get under your car in a place like that. So we're going to use the liquid vac, and I'm going to show you how to use it today, and we'll get some of that fluid out. So these are the tools that I'm going to use today. The liquid vac itself, an oil filter remover, an oil filter itself, and just in case have a handy dandy like wrench thing, just in case you need it, like a little ratchet, in case there's something that you need to get out of the way or free up. Now in this car, it's going to be pretty simple because we have the oil filter right here. Now how easy that's going to be to get off, I don't know. Be careful, everything's hot because I have to drive here. So we're going to try to get that out, and it is hot, and we'll see how easily that comes off. If not, we'll curse a lot and maybe eventually get it off. Hopefully we will be able to use this handy dandy wrench right here to grip it and remove it. Now the way that liquid vac recommends using it is you simply attach this hose here, make sure it's tight, make sure the thing is set to close. Then you pump this handle about 40 times, and once you've done that, you insert this tube into the dipstick oil and make sure it bottoms out and hits the bottom of the pan. Once that's done, you open up this valve here, which allows the suction to start. Place the liquid vac itself on the floor so that you have gravity working for you, and also do this on a warm engine so that the oil is nice and viscous so you can pull it out. Maybe viscosity is not the word, but basically so it's easier to suction out, and that's how it's supposed to work. So we're gonna find out right now. Also have your oil ready, and I'll also get a little funnel so we can get the oil in. Now, before we change the oil, let's take a look at what the oil itself looks like. We're gonna pull out the dipstick, and we're gonna see what condition the oil's in. So just get that in front. And we can see that the oil is not as clear as we would like it to be. I like to use a paper towel because it really gives me a nice feeling as to what the color of the oil is. Well, part of the stick is dirtier, but I think we're definitely due for an oil change. Now, the traditional way is obviously to get the plug off the bottom and get the plug out the pan and let the oil pour out, which is how most people do it. But we're going to try this method because I think it's very convenient for city living, and we'll see how it works out. So let's get to it. I think we have more. Depth. I think we might have gone a little too deep with it, but I don't think that'll hurt us. So now we'll just pump it on screws like this, like so. And that's about 40. So now we'll just twist this nozzle open and see what happens. And here comes the oil. I don't know if you can see it. It's pretty filthy. And obviously it's filling up in the liquid vac. I don't know if you can see that very well because the sun is not cooperating, but we do have plenty of oil coming up. Hey guys, back just in time to hear the suction of the oil. And we were just, we took a quick break because we were helping a gentleman start his car that wouldn't start up. And I used a Genius Boost Noco HD, which is a portable starter. The reason we'll do a review on that at a later time, but it's a really good device that lets you start a car up. Here's the device itself. And I think we're almost done sucking out the oil, so let's see. So let's see if we need to pump this thing more. Here it is, full of oil, by the way. Warm engine oil. I don't know if you can tell. It's not very transparent. Let's give it a few more pumps. I can hear it sucking air along out with it. And I can smell the kind of like the oil smell, you know. So let's see if we can like use the thing to suction a little bit, kind of like a vacuum cleaner. Oh, run out of air. Let's just give it a pump, another pump. It's running out quick now because it's sucking oxygen, but we're going to try to get as much oil out as we can. Okay, I think we're pretty much done. Pulled out as much oil as we're going to pull out. Here we go. I was going to put it back just to see how much oil we have in there. And it doesn't look like we have any oil, because if you look at that, let's see if I can get that camera. There is absolutely no oil going on there. Okay, now that we sucked out all the oil, we're ready to put it back. What I wanted to do is I wanted to take a look on this thing to see how much oil I've sucked out exactly. But the problem is you can't actually tell. I even looked in the sun to try to figure out how much oil I actually got in here so I could put the same exact amount of oil back. But I can't actually see the mark. So we're going to try to figure that out, and once we do, we'll put the same exact amount of oil back in the car. Okay, so after looking inside, I figured out that it was around 4 quarts that we sucked out, and we should put 4 quarts back. And it wasn't too easy to read, but I had to open the cap and sort of look inside. I guess now when I look at it from the side, I could kind of tell it's almost exactly 4 quarts. Here, when it's sitting on the ground and I'm looking from far, I can actually tell that there's around 4 quarts in there. Now here we are. I don't know if you can see the filter. It's that white thing over there, and with a little black overspray on it. That was when I was just spraying some of the rusted parts with a little black paint, which didn't hold too well. You could still see some of the rust coming through. But anyway, what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to remove that, so stay tuned. Okay, so I think that's in there just hand tight, as it should be. So let's try to remove that. And we'll get a rag ready to catch any of the extra oil that might spill out. And we're getting some oil already. Careful, because it's all really hot. Having some trouble getting that out of there. And obviously the filter has oil all over it. So we're going to just try to wipe up that mess. Okay, now I have plenty of paper towels to catch that mess, because it will make a mess. So here we have this filter that I got in from Amazon. It came all ripped up, so that's why you see this tape here. I'm just gonna rip that open. This is, I got this Mal. I think Volvo recommends Mal, and this one is made in Austria. I don't know if you're subscribed to that kind of thing, that where it's made makes it better, but I just wanted to go with something this car is comfortable with, you know, in terms of flow and stuff. I'm sure that stuff is important. So I just used some tape to protect it. By the way, that oil filter was on there beautifully. Whoever did the oil change last, just hand tighten that, which is what you're supposed to do. So that's great. Just get some of this tape on here. We use tape because the filter came in such a poor box that I didn't want anything getting inside the filter and then getting in my engine. So I used a little bit of masking tape. So now that's clear. What we're going to do is we're going to fill the filter with a little bit of oil, because you don't want the there to be any dry moments when this cylinder start going, you know, because that before that oil gets in there. So first we're going to this down. I'm going to use some of that fresh oil to coat the ring here so that it's nice and flush with the engine when it goes on. And we'll work it in here into the grooves so that it goes on nice and snug, and we can just hand tighten it. Okay, that's good. Now we're gonna pour a little oil in there. I guess you can use this, but I think that would probably be the best, so let's try to do that now. This is a magnet that I have. There isn't a lot of working space, but we'll do the best we can. Just trying to find a good spot for it so I don't spill oil all over my engine, which might happen anyway. So now we're just gonna tighten that filter in there. Okay, so we just hand snugged it in there, and that's it, ready to pour our oil. The cap just fell off, but that's okay, we don't need it anyway. We're gonna pour sideways like this so we don't get the gulp, gulp, gulp sound and get oil all over the engine. You can't do this with a cap. And careful not to overfill the engine. Don't want too much oil in there. So we're going to stop. Should wipe out any oil that's spilled. And we're going to check how much oil we actually got in there. Now, a great thing to do is check your manual. Here's my manual, and this says that's as much as we should have, how much oil we should have, and it tells you what kind of oil it recommends too. And we're putting in SAE 10W30. We're putting in synthetic because it's a high mileage car, and also it's Castrol, so I think that this car will be happy with that oil. So here's my car specs, but your car will have its own manual. And we've actually overfilled a little bit, so we're going to pull some oil out. Okay, so we've refilled the oil to the appropriate level as indicated by the manual on the stick, and now we're going to start her up and see what she sounds like. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe and comment and make suggestions. I'm here to learn and teach others. So thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.
So this is the second day after the oil change, and there's almost no oil on the ground. I expect that tiny bit we see over there is just from the fact that I spilled a little oil as I was taking the oil filter off. Now that's very little, so that does not give me any cause for concern. So I think we're good.